yourself. If you did, given what little we know about you, you were in the Marine Corps?
No, ma'am.
Military?
Yes, ma'am.
You would have grabbed him by the collar, pulled him out of the car if you felt as if you were in danger.
Not necessarily so, ma'am.
Oh, well, that's what I think. And what I think is the only thing that's important. What you did was you humiliated him. You were shouting obscenities at each other. You approached the passenger side of the car and you slapped him. You can't do that.
May I say something, please?
No, you told me your story. You have absolutely no right, because you could have extricated yourself very easily from the situation by getting in your truck, which was already filled up with gas, and leaving. Chose not to do that. You chose to continue to engage in a confrontation, and you went up there, and the first physical movement was you touching him. Now, you didn't hurt him. You slapped him. You humiliated him. And what did he do? He did not get out of the car to punch you. He said, I'm going in to call the police. Did what he was supposed to do. Now, you would have me believe, Mr. Griffith, that after he went inside and called the police to come and respond because he had been assaulted, his intention was to come outside and assault you while he was waiting for the police to come. Because that's what you said to me. You said he came out and he had a fist up as if he was going to hit me. Doesn't make sense. I mean, he may be a stupid kid, but he's not crazy. You don't call the police and then
I'm sorry.
We'll get to your case in a minute. You don't do that. No normal person does that. Calls the police and said, well, now I'm going to assault him and really give it to him. You were still angry, and you kicked him. That was the second physical contact initiated by you, Mr. Griffin. And then your friend came over, and now there are two people over him. All he sees is his friend down, being hit for the second time.
It's not true, ma'am.
That's what you told me.
I didn't say anything about afterwards. My friend ran up to protect me and tackled him.
No. Sir, you just testified, Mr. Griffin, that he came out of the store, you were yelling and screaming back at one another, he balled up a fist as if he was going to hit you, and you drop-kicked him to the ground. When Mr. Fritz turned around and saw you and around him, knowing you had slapped him before, and for one reason or another, he's down on the ground now, he took action to protect his friend. And that's what the appellate court, in all probability, said, that this was an unfortunate incident, but certainly not one for which he should be held criminally responsible, because the physical part of this altercation was initiated by you. So, sir, your complaint is dismissed. Now, let us get to your counterclaim, which is also dismissed, because as cute as you are here today, I have a feeling you're a wise guy. Now, was there another way that you could have dealt with this other than hitting him over the head with a socket wrench? Perhaps. Perhaps. Do I think that you were maybe a little bit out of control that day, driving your car in a fashion that almost hurt Mr. Griffith? Perhaps. The justice system worked because you were found guilty by one judge beyond a reasonable doubt. The second appeal, which they went over all of the records, which they clearly found that there was substantial evidence, not evidence beyond a reasonable doubt, substantial evidence, far more evidence than I need at this trial, found that you were guilty. I certainly hope that the next 30 or 40 years of your life is spent outside the court system. Are you living at home now?
No, ma'am.
Where are you living?
In an apartment.
How old are you?
19.
What do you do for a living?
I'm a cook at Hooters.
See what I mean? Your case is dismissed. Goodbye.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
My best friend for 6 years and roommate at the time on the ground. I wasn't thinking clearly.
He missed the back of my head, and when I spun around, because I felt the wind upswing, he hit between my eyes.
All I could think of is just, hey, get these people to stop.
He left the scene. Both of them did.
They go back to...
Nursing assistant Julia Shariat is suing her former landlord, 63-year-old Bernard Southard, for 2 months' rent, a security deposit, and sexual harassment.
Order. All rise. Yeah, this is case number 170 on the calendar in the matter of Shariat versus Southard. Parties have been sworn in. Judge, you may be seated. Folks, have seats, please.
Ms. Shariat, according to the complaint that I've read, you rented an apartment from the defendant The apartment was on his property, adjacent to a shop that he had, some sort of shop where he did work. You moved into the apartment in September of 2000, is that
Yes.
right? And it is your claim that you lived there from September, October, November, December, and moved out sometime in January, is that right?
No, I had a 6-month lease, which would have ended the end of
I
February.
asked when you moved out.
Okay, I stayed 2 more months after this. It was I moved out. April. I was forced to move out.
Just
April
just tell
6th.
me when you moved out.
April 6th.
So you stayed beyond your lease.
Yes.
And you want many things. You want him to pay you for 2 months' rent. You want him to reimburse you for your security deposit. You are charging him with sexual harassment. And you are charging him with an excessive electricity bill because you say that your apartment was also hooked up to his shop. So you got an excessive electricity bill.
Yes.
That's what you want.
Yes.
Okay. What problems do you claim that the defendant caused you that would inspire me to return rent to you?
Okay. I ended up in the hospital 4 different times.
When? When was the first time?
11/28 is the first hospital report I had.
November 28th.
Yeah.
And what were you hospitalized for?
Well, I went in there for chemical poisoning, which they couldn't test for because there's 150 chemicals out there. But it ended up I had a carbon monoxide level of 10.1.
Okay, that's in November.
10.5,
Ms.
yeah.
Shariat, listen to me. That's in November.
Yeah,
Then you went back to the apartment.
yeah.
When were you hospitalized again?
Okay, the next one was January 5th.
And why did you go to the hospital January 5th?
That time I was vomiting profusely within 1 hour. And again, they detected even a higher carbon monoxide level. That came to 12.1%.
Okay, and then you went back to your apartment.
No, they said don't go back. It's health hazardous. I
So-
checked into a crisis shelter.
But you told me you stayed in the apartment until April 6th.
Well, I was going to tell you I couldn't for 6 days. I was at a crisis shelter. I was too ill.
But then
I
you
did
went
go
back
back.
to the apartment.
I did go back after that.
Okay, and you stayed then in January, and in February, and in March. Is that right?
Yes, and I also...
When was your next hospitalization?
Okay, it was in April, the beginning of April.
No, that amounts to 3.
Yes.
You said you were hospitalized 4 times while you were living there.
No, I have 3 reports. I did make a mistake. I did go to an allergist. I may have counted that, feeling ill, but it was not the hospital.
Okay.
I have an
now
allergist report.
Now, what rent do you want him to give you back?
I feel after the end of November that it was a very miserable situation.
Then you should have moved.
I had nowhere to move, and I had a 6-month
That's not his
lease.
problem. That's not his problem. You don't live out the terms of your lease. I mean, unless there's something wrong
Well,
with you.
it's better than going back into a slum apartment where I came from.
Then that's the choice you made, right?
Yeah.
You stayed there November when you felt sick. You stayed there December, you felt
Yeah.
sick. You stayed December, January,
Yeah.
February, March. Then you move out in April, and
Yeah.
then you sue him for rent. Forget rent. Forget it. All right, let's get to the security deposit. Did he keep your security deposit?
Oh, yeah.
How much was your security deposit?
$400. And I
Did
also...
she give what?
Excuse me. I also paid $400 in April and had to leave on the 6th.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did she give you $400 for April?
Yes, ma'am. She did not have all of her stuff out by the end of April.
Just a minute.
Also,
When did you move out all of your stuff?
I had to stay with my friend.
I don't care what. I don't care
And
where
I
to
came
stay.
back on the 13th, and I tried to start moving it. I was unable to because of the
If your
fumes.
stuff is there, you're there.
Okay, it was completely moved out April 16th.
Why did you keep her security deposit?
I have pictures here where she busted down one of the beds that was left in there for him to use, unrepairable. And also, I have pictures of the apartment, what the apartment was here, but also a spot on the carpet in the front room coming in that will not come up, and the shower stall, which was left so dirty in the bottom that the stains will not come out of the
Your
bottom.
Show me
Honor?
the bills to have all of that stuff fixed.
Your Honor? Shh. Oh,
Show me
sorry.
the bills to have all of that stuff fixed. Either you paid to have it fixed, or you have estimates
I
about
did
how.
not have the bills on it. The bed was unrepairable, so I got rid of it.
Forget it. She gets her security back unless you have bills to show me what it cost to clean the carpet, repair the carpet, clean up the shower, anything else, she gets her security deposit back. Do you understand that? How much was her security?
কেদে গেছি মা হ্যাঁ ये
ఎక్కువ అన్ని వెంటనే నియా వాక్ कर दे या अल्लाह